Welcome, and thank you for joining us for this winter operations preview. It looks like Lincoln will be getting its white Christmas this year after all. However, the snow is expected to also bring extreme winds and below zero temperatures. This triple threat could lead to blizzard-like conditions and the lowest wind chill temperatures in decades. Public safety is priority number one for our city and county teams, and we are watching the storm closely while preparing to ensure safe travel for all. LTU continues to make data-driven decisions based on information we receive from the National Weather Service to keep the Lincoln community safe. We plan accordingly to each forecast to offer efficient winter operations for the community. Starting this afternoon, the National Weather Service forecasts temperatures below zero with wind chills as low as 45 below zero on Thursday, December 22nd through noon on Saturday, December 24th. There is also a chance of blizzard conditions with snow up to 3 inches and winds up to 45 miles per hour. The National Weather Service indicates that travel may become very difficult, if not impossible. Our entire winter operations team is standing by for this weather event. Our team has prepared its fleet for this storm. Snowplow operators will conduct spot checks for snow depth around the entire city and examine the impact to all streets. Arterial and residential plowing will be deployed as necessary. We will be sharing the latest updates on winter operations through the media, on our social media, Facebook and Twitter pages, and on our website at lincoln.ne.gov/snow. Snow mixed with high winds can lead to whiteout conditions, resulting in limited or no visibility. If whiteout conditions occur, it may delay city and county teams from plowing operations until they can safely continue the service. The community can watch LTU's plowing progress during the storm at lincoln.ne.gov/snow. The snowplow tracker shows where and when snowplows have been working in your area of the city with a color-coded map. Decisions regarding residential street plowing operations are based on forecasted data and may be necessary in just a few areas of town or across the entire city. We continuously evaluate our plowing options as we watch the storm develop. The community can assist our plowing crews as well. Crews are better able to respond to resident service requests after a storm has passed and arterial and emergency streets have been serviced. Once the snow has stopped falling, visit the city's online snowplow tracker to monitor the snowplowing progress. Please pause snow-related requests unless your service area is shaded in dark green on the snowplow tracker, which means it has been serviced, inspected, and approved. If your service area is not shaded in dark green, crews are still plowing and may solve your issue soon. If your service area is shaded in dark green but requires additional attention, submit a service request at lincoln.ne.gov/uplink. The extreme winter conditions may also impact Lincoln's transit system, StarTran. City Communications will continue to run bus service and report delays if they occur. We encourage our riders to bundle up and wait at the bus stops about 8 feet away from the street so riders remain safe. Residents may visit lincoln.ne.gov/StarTran to access additional bus-related information. Whether the community is trying to get around via transit or in their own vehicles, city and county snowplow teams work together to make sure area transportation is covered. Lancaster County engineer crews focus on a variety of different challenges that come with maintaining more rural areas. And I'd like to now bring up Lancaster County engineer Pam Dingman on the county's plan related to the storm. Pam?
Thank you, Liz. In the county, our main concern during these events is always blowing snow. You may be aware the county has over 1,400 miles of road. Only about 300 miles are paved. So once we're out in rural Lancaster County, it's a gravel road. They're not lit at night. It can become very difficult to see and maintain the road. This is the reason why we do not put crews on gravel after nightfall. So as the storm progresses, we will continuously make decisions as to how we are putting our people out on the roads. If you do need to abandon your vehicle on a county road, this becomes a big issue for us as we try to move snow around these vehicles. Please call the non-emergency number 402-441-6000 and let the Sheriff's Department know your phone number and the location of your vehicle, and please get that vehicle moved off of that road as soon as possible. You may not be aware that the city and the county, through an interlocal agreement, trade roads back and forth every year. So in some areas where it makes more sense for the county to maintain a city road, we go ahead and move that snow on a city road. And in some areas where it makes more sense for the city to move the snow, the city moves the snow. We've done this the last several years because we want the citizens that live on the urban fringe to have the best service. There's no reason to have a line literally drawn in the road because what we need is service for our constituents. People expect government to work together like this. In the county, we will be using primarily salt and sand as the storm progresses, mainly because of the conditions of the snow and blowing snow. We just don't have enough things that impede that snow. And then people don't often realize, hey, out in the county, it's colder than it is in the city. The city generates a lot of heat. It's a different program. And Liz and I get a lot of different calls and concerns about why does the county do things differently than the city. And we're simply reacting to the conditions of our roads. The county only has one shift of workers. And so we will be starting early and finishing late. Please give these ladies and gentlemen a lot of room and latitude on the road. Removing snow is very tedious and very time consuming, and it's exhausting. Be sure that you're staying back at least 100 feet from these vehicles. You should also know that it's difficult for them to see you, especially if you're in a small car and you're behind them. And then in addition, Lancaster County is currently short snow plows. And we have a little bit of a supply chain issue with parts and repairs. And so we do have one plow down going into the storm, which is always a concern. And we have 2 new snow plows that have actually been on order for more than 18 months. And we could really use those snow plows today, but they still have not been delivered. So with that, I'll turn it back to you, Liz.
Thank you, Pam. Whether it's responding to emergencies or helping direct traffic during snowstorms, Lincoln Police Department works closely with all other departments and is a crucial part of Lincoln's response team during potential storms like this one. I'd like to welcome Lincoln Police Department Chief Teresa Ewens.
Thanks, Liz. The Lincoln Police Department is prepared and ready to assist not only the public, but our city partners in order to keep everyone safe. As we focus on doing our part, we'd like the public to start thinking about their own preparations as well. Have a plan, and with your family, roommates, and neighbors through the storm, but really look out for each other. Consider stocking your vehicle with a winter weather roadside kit. This could include ice melt, a small shovel, flashlight, blankets, and hand warmers. If your vehicle becomes stuck on ice or snow on city streets, we ask you to stay with your vehicle until it can be moved off the roadway. If it is not safe to stay with your vehicle, please contact the non-emergency number at 402-441-6000 to provide your contact information and vehicle location. If you need to file a police report and there is no urgency, please wait until this storm has passed or call our non-emergency number to ask for a police officer to take the report over the phone. If you have an emergency, please call 911 and officers will respond. As a department, we are prepared and ready to respond. We have activated the Department Operations Center to manage and respond to all possibilities related to this storm. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief. We'd like to remind drivers to be extremely cautious when out driving in the elements around big vehicles like snowplows, fire trucks, and buses. I'd like to now welcome Fire and Rescue Chief Dave Engler to the podium.
Thank you, Liz. Keeping Lincoln safe during winter storms is a team effort. Lincoln's firefighters, snow fighters, and officers have been preparing for this all year. Just like our essential city teams, we know the public is doing their best to provide safe spaces for themselves and their neighbors. There are more than 12,000 fire hydrants across the city. Many times, our fire and rescue crews must dig fire hydrants out from the snow during emergencies, which hinders our efforts to be as effective as possible. This is just a reminder that if there is a fire hydrant near your property, please dig around the hydrant and shovel a path directly to it. Our safety reminders include to inspect your furnace and change filters. This is also a good time to replace the batteries in your fire alarms and carbon monoxide detectors. Do not leave candles, fireplaces, and space heaters unattended. These quick safety reminders will benefit you and your neighbors in case of an emergency and save precious time if a fire breaks out. If a resident is unable to shovel or snow blow their property, we encourage them to make a plan with a family member, friend, or neighbor. Another resource available to the public is to connect with the volunteer group Snow Angels. These volunteers have signed up to assist their neighbors with shoveling or snow blowing their properties. The volunteer group is currently accepting new volunteers. Go to lincoln.ne.gov/snowangels to learn more and sign up now. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Our transportation system is crucial to our communities day to day, and we at the city and county plan to do everything we can to make sure the public can get where they need to go safely. We will now open it up for any questions you may have.
How do all of you involved, all of your crews drive different vehicles? Just how do you, on your own, manage the dangerous driving conditions to be able to get to places you need to get to?
And I'll invite others to come up. It is something, if it's dangerous for you and I to be out on the road in our cars and pickups, it's even more dangerous for those who are in these extremely large vehicles, whether it's a bus or a snowplow or a fire truck. If you can't see, they probably can't see either. So it's something that if it gets too bad, we will have to halt services until it's safer to provide those services. We don't want to cause any additional damage or concerns, and we want our team to get home at night. So it is something that we watch and monitor closely, but I'll invite anybody else who may take some different positions.
Sure. We have to change a little bit of our driving habits. One of the things is you know, we're responding slower because it takes a lot more time to slow our large vehicles down. We do put snow chains when necessary to get through on the snowpacked streets if that's a issue. And then for firefighting, you know, we put out fires with water. So that presents a challenge because water freezes. So we always have to crack our hoses a little bit, and what that does is it releases more water. So we have the slip, trip, and fall hazards, and so we have to do a lot to adjust not only our driving conditions but our operations during these extremely cold times.
I would just add that, you know, we really want to make sure that our employees are safe, and that means sometimes as we move forward in seeing the dangers and how this storm builds, we may go to two people in a car versus one, absolutely slowing down, making sure that we get to where we're being called to, because the public still needs us, and so our job is still to respond. And that's why, you know, the idea of if you don't have to file a report today, please wait until Friday or Saturday. But we will still be there for the public, and that safety is still the utmost important part of this.
I think it's always important to note that LTU and Lancaster County Engineering Department have trained together twice in the last year. once out in Grand Island and once at the event center. And we've trained all year for winter driving operations. We practice it. We practice winter conditions. Doesn't mean we're prepared for everything, no, but it means we're prepared for most things. And so that's what we're going to continue to do with our operation. On a personal note, it's probably a good time to decide if there's something you were going to do today or tomorrow that isn't absolutely necessary. You know, we're really advising people not to travel. That means personally, I've canceled my personal appointments that weren't absolutely necessary in order to keep myself off the road. And that's what we would advise everyone else to do also.
And probably just one last thing is the larger vehicles can't stop on a dime, especially if it's a little slick out there. So do be a little more cautious and give even more room between you and any vehicle, but in particular large vehicles such as the plows, buses, those types of things.
You can go ahead.
Chief Engler, we're supposed to see some really very low wind chill temperatures. Just what are the concerns to people's health?
Well, obviously being outside is not recommended because you can expose yourself to the environment, and that's a concern. Another big one is if you're outside, slip, trip, and fall. Even the parking lot, as I was walking in here, I slipped and luckily didn't fall. But we'll see a lot of those type of calls if people are out and about. And so the safest thing to do is to stay inside. And then certainly when you're heating your house, having a carbon monoxide detector and don't use any non-approved heating devices because carbon monoxide, it's odorless, it's colorless, and it's very dangerous. So it's really important that people follow all the safety rules as we get through this cold spell that we're going through.
If someone finds themselves in a really emergency situation, they may fall in the snow, they may have a really emergency thing to do, what should they do? Who should they call? How long should they expect assistance to get to their homes?
Well, certainly the number to call is 911 if you have an emergency. Make sure that you tell the dispatcher that you're outside because we do alter our response. So if you fall in your house, depending on the criteria, you may not get an emergency response, but if you fall outside on a day like today, you're going to get an emergency response. So we alter our response. In order to accommodate the potential for the increase in calls, we are putting additional crews on the street because obviously if we have to travel slower, it's going to increase the response time. So we're trying to decrease the response time by putting additional crews on the street. But if you find yourself in a dangerous situation, 911 is the number to call.
I can probably go without it. Okay. Chief Engler, and I don't know if this question's for you, but you kind of mentioned being outside is not a great place to be right now. Is the city opening warming centers for the city's homeless community, or I guess how are leaders addressing that?
I'm not sure.
Just a kind of an initial part on that, we will be providing some additional information this afternoon on city services, and we'll include information like that as well. So that is coming out later this afternoon, but Chief Ewens can add.
Yeah, we definitely have our partners. People City Mission definitely is taking people in. It's been on commercials for the last week or two, but you know, it's really important that if you see somebody that is outside, please call, because we don't want that person to pass away based on this weather. That's very, very important. But there are definitely places for people to go, and we hope to connect people as we move forward.
Liz, Pam mentioned that they're down a plow, they're down a couple of drivers. How is the city doing as far as having enough people to drive plows and having enough plows to operate?
We are lucky. We did get our plows that we ordered. It did take us, I think, a little over 18 months to get those plows, so we understand the county's position well. We do have an additional 11, I believe it's 11 new snow plows this year out on the street that are ready. We have been preparing the last couple days to kind of refill up our trucks, do some last minute maintenance from Monday, and we'll be prepared to go out later today if needed, and we'll continue to monitor that. We also did do a hiring event where we were able to hire a few additional teammates to our team to help out with winter operations. So overall, right now, we're doing pretty well in our ready and prepared, and should have teams. In addition, we do have our contractors on standby as well. So if we do need to pull in those additional resources, they are ready and willing to help out when needed.
Chief, if there is someone out there who hasn't made the call on whether or not they should drive this weekend or travel, it's a big traveling weekend, just what would be your message about that safety concern?
Well, I mean, it is the holiday, and people want to be with family, but please weigh that risk, because we don't want to have people on the street, you know, cars break down, collisions, things like that will happen. We're putting our first responders in harm when we do that. And so please think about the fact that is it worth going out there and possibly getting in a collision and being stuck in the elements, because it is going to be difficult for people. But I would ask them just to weigh their options.
Any other questions? As mentioned earlier, we will be having some additional information come out later this afternoon with city services, hours that may be changing, or warming centers that people can locate. So we'll get that information out to you as soon as we have all of that finalized. Thank you for joining us today.